At a bar while I was away getting drinks, a famous influencer asked my girlfriend if I was her boyfriend. Just as I walked back, I heard her laugh and say, "He's just a friend." I stared at her, furious. When he asked if she was single, she then hesitated. I'm not. He's my boyfriend." I put the drinks down without a word. Weeks later, when she tried to come back, someone else was already sitting beside me. You ever have one of those moments where your life just splits into two neat halves? Before and after. For me, that moment happened about a month ago, at a crowded bar on a Friday night, and it all started with a couple of beers. My girlfriend Sophia and I had been together for 2 years. For the most part, things were good. But there was always this one thing that kind of sat in the back of my mind. Sophia was obsessed with social media. Not just posting pictures of her food, but really obsessed. She followed all these big shot influencers, knew their life stories, their brand deals, their latest drama. She wanted that life, or at least a taste of it. She spent hours trying to get the perfect photo, the perfect caption. I'm a pretty low-key guy. I have social media, but I mostly use it to see what my friends are up to. I didn't really get her fascination with internet fame, but it made her happy, so I supported it. Anyway, last month we were out at this new rooftop bar downtown. It was packed. The vibe was good, and we were having a decent time. We found a small table, and I went up to the bar to fight through the crowd and get us some drinks. The line was long, so it took me a good 10 minutes. As I was walking back, balancing 2 beers, I saw that a guy had pulled up a chair to our table and was talking to Sophia. He was one of those guys who just looks like he's famous. Perfect hair, expensive jacket, a big, flashy watch. Sophia was completely captivated. She was leaning in, laughing at everything he said, twirling her hair. It was a level of flirty I hadn't seen from her in a long time. As I got closer, I recognized him. He was some guy named Ryder, a huge influencer. He had millions of followers for doing, well, I'm not really sure what he did. Pranks or challenges or something. Sophia was a massive fan. She'd shown me his videos before. I was about 10 feet away when I heard him gesture towards me as I approached. He had his phone out, kind of pointed in their direction, but held low, like he was recording a casual story for his followers. Ryder asked her, his voice loud enough for me to hear over the music, "Is that your boyfriend?" And then it happened. The moment that split my life in two. Sophia let out a little laugh, a dismissive, airy sound, and without a single second of hesitation, she said, "Oh, him? No, he's just a friend." I stopped dead in my tracks. The beers in my hand suddenly felt ice cold. A friend. After 2 years, after meeting my entire family, after telling me she loved me just that morning, I was just a friend. The disrespect was so sharp, so instant, it felt like a physical slap in the face. All for a guy she'd known for 5 minutes. I just stood there, staring at her. My expression must have been something to see, because the whole vibe at the table changed. Ryder, the influencer, saw my face and immediately looked uncomfortable. He knew something was wrong. He looked from me to Sophia, who was now refusing to look at me, a guilty blush creeping up her neck. Ryder, to his credit, seemed to realize he'd stepped into something messy. He looked back at Sophia and asked, "Wait, so are you single?" And that's when she hesitated. The smooth, confident lie was gone, replaced by pure deer-in-the-headlights panic. She stammered, Actually, I'm not. He's my boyfriend." She finally looked at me, her eyes pleading. Too little, too late. The damage was done. The truth had to be dragged out of her, but the lie came so easily. Ryder's eyes went wide. He looked at me, then back at her, then back at me. He looked genuinely shocked. He asked me, "How long have you guys been together?" I finally moved. I walked the last few feet to the table. I looked right past Sophia and at him. My voice was completely flat. 2 years. The influencer just shook his head, looking at Sophia with a kind of pity. I put both beers down on the table with a firm click. I looked at Sophia, at her panicked, guilty face. I didn't yell. I didn't cause a scene. I just said, loud enough for both of them to hear, "Don't worry, this is our last day together." Then I turned around and walked out of the bar. I didn't look back. I just left her there with her influencer, her lies, and the 2 beers I'd just bought. My phone started ringing before I even got to my car. I didn't answer. I drove home in complete silence. The anger and hurt were there, bubbling under the surface, but mostly I just felt this cold, hard clarity. This wasn't a mistake, It wasn't a misunderstanding, it was a choice. She had shown me exactly what I was worth to her, and I believed her. I got home, walked inside, and immediately started packing a bag. Not my stuff. Hers. Update 1. It's been a week since the incident at the bar. A lot has happened, and almost none of it has been quiet. The first thing I did when I got home that night was block Sophia's number. I knew I couldn't talk to her. There was nothing to say. I just needed to act. I took 3 big trash bags from under the sink and filled them with her essentials. Clothes from the closet, her stuff from the bathroom, the chargers, and laptop from her desk. I didn't touch anything else in the apartment yet, just the things she would need immediately. I put the bags by the front door. Then I sent a text to her sister. Sophia's things are by the door. She's not staying here anymore. Come get them. Then I blocked her sister's number too. I slept on the couch that night. I couldn't stand being in our bedroom. The next morning, the real storm began. I woke up to an email from Sophia with the subject line, "We need to talk." It was a long, rambling message full of excuses. She said she was starstruck. She said she panicked. She said it didn't mean anything and that she loved me and that I was massively overreacting and being cruel. I deleted it without responding. Then I made the mistake of going online. My buddy Dave texted me, "Dude, you're all over the internet." Ryder had posted the video. Of course he did. It was content gold. The title was, "She tried to friendzone her BF for me." It got awkward. The clip was about a minute long. He had edited it for maximum drama, with captions and slow-motion replays of my face when she said, "He's just a friend." The video was already going viral. It had millions of views. And the comments, man, the comments were a wild ride. 99% of them were on my side. People were calling me a king for walking away. They were calling Sophia every name in the book. A clout chaser, a snake, disloyal. Her attempt to impress a famous guy had backfired in the most public way possible. She wasn't just getting called out, she was getting roasted by millions of strangers. The video's popularity meant Sophia couldn't hide. Her social media was flooded with hate. People found her accounts and were tagging her in the video. It was brutal. Part of me felt a grim sense of satisfaction. This was a consequence she had earned. The emails from her kept coming, each one more frantic than the last. She begged me to release a joint statement with her, to tell everyone it was a misunderstanding. She actually thought I would help her with her PR crisis. The entitlement was unbelievable. Then she did something that really crossed a line. She showed up at my apartment. I had been ignoring the doorbell, but she must have used the spare key she still had. I was in my home office when I heard the front door open. I walked out, and there she was, standing in the entryway, her face puffy from crying. "We need to fix this," she said. "There's nothing to fix, Sophia." I told her, "I'm done. You're just gonna throw away 2 years because of one stupid mistake?" She pleaded. "It wasn't a mistake. It was a choice," I said. "You made it very clear where your priorities are. Now you need to leave. You're not welcome here anymore." She started yelling then, telling me I was ruining her life, that her boss had seen the video, that people were harassing her. She said it was all my fault for walking away and making it a big deal. The lack of accountability was stunning. I just pointed to the door. "Get out or I'm calling the police." She left, slamming the door behind her. The next day I got a letter from a lawyer. It was a cease and desist ordering me to stop harassing her and to take down the defamatory video. It was a pathetic attempt to intimidate me. I hadn't posted the video. Ryder had. I knew then that I needed to protect myself. I hired my own lawyer. We sent back a response stating that I was not the publisher of the video and had no control over it. We also sent her a formal eviction notice. Since she had been living with me for over a year, I had to give her 30 days to remove the rest of her belongings. All future communication was to be through our lawyers. I spent the rest of the week boxing up her life. It was a strange, sad process, but also cleansing. With every box I taped shut, I felt like I was reclaiming my space, my home, and my life. She thought this was a drama she could manage. She was about to find out it was a legal process she had no control over. Update 2. It's been about 3 weeks since the video went viral. The 30-day eviction period is ticking down, and Sophia has been fighting it every step of the way, which is exactly what I expected. Her lawyer has been sending my lawyer letters full of nonsense, claiming she has a right to stay in the apartment and that I owe her financial support for the emotional distress I've caused. It's all just a delay tactic. The public fallout for her has been relentless. The video spawned a whole genre of response videos and memes. She became known as Friendzone Sophia. I heard through a mutual acquaintance that she had to delete all her social media accounts, but the damage was done. The internet never forgets. One of the most satisfying moments came about a week ago. I got an email from an unknown address. It was from Sophia. She had managed to find a way around my blocks. It was a different kind of message this time. She had attached a screenshot of a text conversation. It was between her and Ryder, the influencer. In the messages, she was begging him to take the video down. She told him it was destroying her life. His response was ice cold. He wrote, "Look, it's not personal. It's just content. The video is getting insane engagement. Taking it down would be bad for business. You should have thought about that before you lied on camera." Then she pleaded with him again, and his final response was, "Hell no, this thing is going to pay for my trip to Bali." She sent me the screenshot with a one-line message. "See what you've done?" She was actually trying to make me feel sorry for her. She wanted me to see her as a victim of this big, mean influencer. But all I saw was a user getting used. She saw Ryder as a stepping stone to fame, and he saw her as a disposable character in his latest viral video. It was a perfect karmic loop. I didn't even respond. With all this happening, I knew I couldn't just sit around and wait for her to leave. I had to move on with my life, and I had to do it in a way that was visible. Her humiliation was public, so my recovery needed to be public too. It was the only way to truly end the narrative she was trying to spin about me being the bad guy. I started going out again. I reconnected with friends I had neglected. I started hitting the gym again. It felt good to focus on myself. And one night, I met someone. Her name is Maria. We met through mutual friends at a local brewery. She's a graphic designer, she's funny, smart, and has zero interest in being famous on the internet. We just clicked. We started talking, then went on a couple of dates. It was casual, but it was the first time in 2 years I felt like I was with a real partner, someone who was interested in me, not what I could provide or how I fit into their life's narrative. And that's when I got the idea for the final chapter of this whole mess. Sophia had tried to use social media to climb a ladder, and it had backfired. I was going to use social media to close the book. I sent a message to Ryder. I found him on a business contact site. My message was simple. "Hey Ryder, I'm the guy from the bar. Your video changed my life. I have a proposal for a follow-up. Let me know if you're interested in a video that would get even more views than the first one." He responded in less than an hour. "I'm listening." The plan was set. The revenge wasn't going to be about hurting her anymore. It was going to be about showing her and the whole world that I had moved on and my life was better for it. Final update. It's been 2 months. I'm writing this from my apartment, and it's finally completely mine again. The last chapter of the Sophia saga played out, and the ending was more satisfying than I could have imagined. My plan with Ryder worked perfectly. We met up to discuss the follow-up video. He was wary at first, probably thought I was going to be some angry, bitter guy. But I was calm. I told him I wasn't mad at him. He was just the catalyst. I laid out my idea, a video titled, "I talked to the guy from that viral bar video. You won't believe what happened next." In the video, I would tell my side of the story, not with anger, but with a focus on self-respect and moving on. I talked about the importance of being with someone who values you. I came across as a regular guy who had been put in a crazy situation and handled it with his head held high. Then, for the end of the video, I told him I was actually on my way to meet a friend. And right on cue, Maria walked into the bar. I introduced them. She was charming and completely natural on camera. We didn't say we were a couple. I just said, "This is my friend Maria. She's been a great person to talk to through all of this." The contrast between her genuine warmth and Sophia's desperate clout chasing was impossible to miss. The video ended with me and Maria smiling, about to have a drink. The message was clear. I had moved on and upgraded. The video dropped on a Friday. It exploded. It got more views than the original in the first 24 hours. The comments were a tidal wave of support. Everyone was happy to see me doing well. The narrative was now set in stone. I was the guy who stood up for himself and found happiness, and Sophia was the girl who threw it all away for nothing. And here's the best part. I knew Sophia's 30-day eviction notice expired that same weekend. I had my lawyer schedule the movers for Saturday afternoon. She had been ignoring all official communication, probably hoping she could just stay until a court forced her out. On Saturday, I was at my apartment with Maria. We were rearranging the living room furniture, really making the space mine. Around noon, Sophia showed up, banging on the door. She was in a rage. She had seen the new video. I opened the door. She started screaming at me. "How could you do that? You humiliated me all over again. And with her." She pointed at Maria, who was standing in the living room. I just stayed calm. "Sophia, the video wasn't about you. It was about me moving on, something you should be doing right now." I pointed to the mountain of boxes stacked neatly in the corner of the room. "The movers will be here in an hour to take these to a storage unit. The first month is paid for. After that, it's your problem. You need to be out of here before they arrive." The sight of Maria in my apartment, the packed boxes, and my complete lack of emotion just broke her. The anger drained away, and she just looked defeated. She saw that she had no power over me anymore. There were no more cards for her to play. She had tried to leverage a moment of potential fame into something more, and it had cost her everything. She left without another word. Her dad came a little while later with a truck to pick up her things. He wouldn't even look me in the eye. So that's it. It's over. Sophia's attempt to use social media to her advantage became her public downfall. I just used that same platform to write a better ending for myself. My revenge wasn't about destroying her. It was about building a better life for me. The ultimate flex isn't hating your ex, it's being so happy without them that you barely remember they exist. And I'm well on my way. Her name is a punchline on the internet, and my life has never been more peaceful. I'd say it was worth the price of 2 beers.